We're in the movement right now. We're in the revolution. Things are going great. I feel like things are moving forward in the city, and the rallies are great. The protests are great. But I think the most important thing is that we need to make sure that not only are we sustaining our momentum, but we're keeping the same energy during election season in November. There are a lot of really important measures on the ballot right now, especially statewide. There's a couple that I want to point out that are super important for education. Prop 13 would divest money from industrial properties and corporations and put that money into education. That's important. We need funding for education, especially when we're talking about providing restorative justice, healing programs, social emotional learning programs, and the mental health resources that our students are going to need to get through this school year, having coming back to school from a global pandemic and in the wake of the revolution. And so Prop 13 is something to pay attention to and to read up on, do your research, but we want that bill to pass because we want that funding back into our schools. And then Prop 16 would bring affirmative action back. Affirmative action is so necessary, and I feel like it goes without having to explain why we need it. It doesn't just benefit the Black community, but it also benefits all people of color, women, anyone from an oppressed group. And so we want to make sure that we have that back on the table so that we can start really pushing for the equity that we're trying to see in the city. There are a lot of organizations out here that are looking for diversity, equity, and inclusion consultants because they want to make their organizations better. I think affirmative action is us taking a concrete stance and that being the action that needs to be taken in these spaces to ensure that the workplaces are diverse. And then there's Prop 17, and Prop 17 is around restoring voter rights for folks that have been convicted of felonies that are on parole. So we're talking about a whole new pool of voters that are now getting to step into the game. American citizens that deserve their right to vote. And we can restore that by voting yes on Prop 17. And now I also want to point out another resolution that Assemblymember Evan Lowe is pushing forward, and that is lowering the voting age to 17. Again, that would open up another pool of voters. So when we're thinking about the type of local policy that we need, state policy we need, and federal policy that we need to push forward the equity agenda, this is important. Restoring the voting rights of people who've been incarcerated, and also giving voting rights to 17-year-olds. So, I mean, I wanted to put that out there. We want to keep the energy strong during election season. If you're not registered to vote, get yourself registered to vote, and really study on these measures so that you can be informed, and you can even start getting your circle together, having virtual conversations, Zoom meetings, Google Hangouts, meeting up with your friends and talking about these measures and breaking them down, and thinking about, how y'all want to vote. Yeah, that's pretty much it.